Simplicity is a really difficult thing to achieve, and it's very important because what it's not necessarily about the simple aesthetic, but it's about the simple message. So what's the most important thing is that a clear message comes across, and invariably the way to do that is to take all the clutter away to make that one single message come through. But simplicity, you have to be very careful with simplicity, because simplicity can become very plain and very boring and very predictable, and also not particularly ownable, which in the world of branding is one of the most important things. So that you feel that any logo you create for anybody is an ownable thing, that there's a trademark and registration and is defendable in a court of law. So simplicity is very tricky to achieve. Everyone wants it. It's very difficult to do, and plain simplicity just doesn't work. What you need to do is add an idea, add a bit of wit, and make a clear message. So I think if I thought about simplicity, I'd think about it as clarity more than the word simplicity. We have a sort of filter that we put on, that we judge everything through, and that is the project going to be fun? Is there creative opportunity in? And if there isn't either of those two things, and sometimes not just creative opportunity, I mean just ability to try and win awards, but ability to push us harder than we've ever been pushed before, and maybe in an area we're not very comfortable in. All these things are what decides whether we take a project on or not. And the process we go through is one of, it's like a filter that starts very broad at the top, and over time the sides get narrower and narrower and narrower until at the very, very final part things are so condensed that a little drop of an idea comes out. So the process we do is a very broad one to start with. All the designers get involved in projects, and they get filtered and filtered and filtered and filtered and filtered and filtered and filtered until just the pure essence of an idea comes out at the bottom. And that's how we do it. The small p for process is that we don't have a process that we stick to all the time, because I have seen companies that have done that, and I think the work can become predictable. So we have to allow for the interesting creative instincts of designers to create original things. And that's what I mean by small processes, small p. Metallica came about with a purely personal connection. So my partner, David Turner, he's a British designer, lives and works in San Francisco, and he put his children in a new school, and he met a parent who he was introduced to, and it happened to be the drummer of Metallica. So Lars Ulrich's children and his children are great friends, and they struck up a relationship which was just based on friendship, pure friendship. And Lars is very interested in art and design. He's Danish, so he's interested in furniture and art, and he loves design. So he would come around to our studio quite a lot, was quite interested in what we were doing. And then asked us if we would like to help them design their next album cover. And you're right, it's something that we never dreamt we would do, and we were a little reluctant to do it, to be honest, because of David's personal relationship. He didn't want to, jobs mostly go according to plan, but of course occasionally they don't, and you don't want to lose a friend for the sake of doing a job for them. So we thought long and hard, and Lars was indeed involved in those conversations as well. And then we just thought, well, what the hell, it would be great fun. And they were a great client, David's still very friendly with Lars, and they're still great friends, and we had a great result. We've only done one album cover in our whole careers, and we won a Grammy, so that's pretty cool. You have to have optimism, because every time you're asked to compromise, and we're asked to compromise in our design as much as anybody else is, you have to have optimism to find a creative solution, to get out of it. You have to have honesty with yourself when you choose which designs you're going to be working on, and you self-edit the good ideas from the bad ideas. You have to be honest with yourself, is this really a good idea, or am I kidding myself? Yeah, you have to have a passion for it, because it's hard work. If you want to earn more money, then you need to go and work for a bank or in the city or something. So you're not doing it for the money, you're doing it because you love it, and the passion comes out. And if you really believe in believe in design, that's essential. I think the one I've always talked about as being the absolute ultimate, the one I'd love to be responsible for is the Olympic Games logo. Right? I actually think it's a great piece of design. I don't know what I'd do with it, but I'd love to be responsible for it because I think it's probably it is probably the most internationally recognized logo in the world. And if you honestly believe, like I do, that good design can change people's lives and make things better, then I always want to be working for the one that can get to the most people. And that's true of my partner David as well. You know, what's better than doing a great piece of design for a famous brand, because everybody gets to see it and it can change so many people's lives. Because it sells more products, it makes more jobs, it's more successful, and also just is aesthetically pleasing around the place and just raises the level of design. So I love the Olympics. I love the Olympic logo. We've got the Olympics coming to London next year, and so we're going to be seeing a lot of that logo. But and the one I mean, by the way, is the one with the 5 rings. That's the one I love. Yeah, so that's the one I'd love to design.